Another service that we've been working on is the Maritime Safety Information and Notices to Mariners service, combining two very important information services to mariners today. To begin with, I just want to explain some of the challenges that the mariners are facing with this information, safety critical information. One of them is the multiple representations. Often one event leads to several messages, and that's valid for navigational warnings and notices to mariners, temporary and preliminary notices. The mariners will receive one message on NavText or on VHF radio, and they will receive another message on in the notices to mariners, the written version or a PDF version on the internet. Exact same information, some of it may be more extensive, but it's the same information contained in the two. So they have to choose which one to trust, and they have to take. They have to consider both of them. So they have to read both of them and double the work. There are also the different distribution. Some of it is in the air, broadcasted on different by satellite safety net messages. It could be NavText on 518 kilohertz. It could be on VHF radio. It could be on some web page. So then there's the urgency issue. Some of it is really critical, needs to go to the mariner straight away. Some of it can wait. There was an accident in Swedish waters recently where a vessel dug up an underwater cable. It was in the notices to mariners. It'd been there for 14 days. The vessel is going to port, has still not received the notices to mariners where this information is. They drop anchor in the wrong position and dig up a cable. So that's just one of the issues. This information should maybe have been in an NavText message or on a VHF. That was, at least it was safety critical, or at least expensive. And then there's the overlap of information. We have several IDs. There's ID for a NavText message. There's ID for the notices to mariners. So there are some challenges in this work. Right now in the ACCSEAS project, we're working on the standards. We've just recently been invited by IHO to participate in the S100 navigational warning correspondence group. And we're very happy to be there and give input to the international process on e-navigation and especially on S100 at the moment. This is how this information is promulgated to vessels today. I just explained the NavText and the Inmarsat safety net. Different ways to communicate this to the vessels. But there's no feedback. The information, it's a broadcast service, so there's no feedback on do the mariners really receive this message? Have they got this message on board? Also with the notices to mariners on the other hand, there are some issues. It's been working for a long time, and it's probably going to work for some in the future as well. But we have some other possibilities now in the digital age. Here's some of the examples, all written in paper, has to be transferred to a paper chart or to an ACCSEAS. With the Maritime Cloud, it's possible to get that feedback from the mariner, that the information has been received. So we send them the message to the mariner, and we get a feedback saying that this has been received, it's in the ACCSEAS, it's in the ship systems. And presentable on an ACCSEAS screen like this, directly without any interference by the mariner, typing in the information in wrong, spending valuable time on that task instead of looking out the window and taking care of navigation. This is how it works today, and this could be the future. So still keeping that working part of the MSI, notices to mariners, part of that, and then just adding that extra information for the mariner, making it possible to transfer the information to the vessels in a modern and new way, making it possible to present it digitally, electronically. Why we decided to include both MSI and notices to mariners in this work was because of this. It's taken on the left side. I'm sorry for the people in the back again. On the left side is the maritime safety information. On the right side is the notices to mariners. And looking down that list, it's the similar information contained in the two. There's an ID, there's a general area, there's locality, yard numbers, the key subject, which is the text base of the message, there's a position, amplifying remarks is again text message, cancellation details. Then the notices to mariners has the possibility of a symbol, so MSI in future form could have the same, and so on. So it's very similar information. Again, the doubling of information. This is taken from a Swedish warning about an underwater operation. It's the same information. This one is from the nav text, and this one is from the notices to mariners. So we get the doubling. Right now we're working on a draft UML model. We have some really clever colleagues in UKJO who has helped us on this work with the S100 product specification. And this is how far we got at the moment. A UML model describing maritime safety information and notices to mariners. How the different information is interconnected and linked. And this work will be continued in ACCSEAS and now also in the IHO correspondence group. This should, in due time, lead to some testing within the ACCSEAS project, collecting and sharing information, MSI and notices to mariners into in the ACCSEAS project a prototype, collecting the information and sending that to the vessels. In future, it could also be an agreed standard, making it possible to share that information without any problems with different formats and so on. Just quickly to explain what we're going to do. Here, we will have a prototype for collecting the information. So the different national coordinators and notices to mariners authorities, they will be able to enter the information into a test system, prototype system. It will be shared with the UKJO, who are the nav area coordinator for the North Sea region. It will then be transferred via the e-navigation communication link to the ship EPD, which is the prototype on board the vessel. So the mariner will have that on the chart display, that information. It can also be transferred via other communication means if time allows. In the efficiency project, we did a prototyping of such a system, collecting that information, and that in time turned into the actual operational system of the national coordinator in Denmark. They're sitting in the next floor in Copenhagen. But that is one of the products from a previous project, so actually a working solution, and they're really happy with that one. This interface shares information with both the e-navigation prototype display, so the information is transferred via the internet, but it's also delivering information to the nav text system, nav text transmitters. It's delivering to the DMA internet web page. It's delivering to Lyngby Radio, who are doing the VHF voice communication of navigational warnings. So it is possible to take this further. Next steps, again, the complete model is hopefully within reach this year, and it's possible to start testing that. We have to make sure that existing data can be represented or presented in this test and validating the model and the S100 prototype standard. Again, the last one, liaise with existing standardization bodies. We already started that with the IHO and within IR as well in the data modeling group. So And this, just a picture, how it could look in the future. This is a picture with the no-go areas, which I will present tomorrow. Oh, sorry, that's going the wrong way. With the METOC information, weather information en route, these purple blobs or circles are navigation or MSI information, and then intended route shown on the screen. So that may come in the future. Thank you for your time.
So there's another example of a service. Any immediate questions for Matt before we move on to the next one, please? Just behind you, if I may, I've just got John Murray. So one second, I'll come back to
you. Thank you. John Murray from the International Chamber of Shipping. We're very interested in what you've been saying and what we've heard already. What I'm also very interested in is from an observer's point of view, rather than myself being technical, the development of the standards and the protocols for navigation. Do you envisage, for example, the information that you're talking about now being seen on an ECDIS or a similar piece of equipment to an ECDIS? And if so, an eNav enabled ECDIS, it would be in my view an error if the first iteration of that did a bit of it, but actually 2 years down the line, as we've had with ECDIS already, oh, actually, you don't want the old one, we want everyone to go down to the shops and buy another one. I think it's essential that the technical standard that e-navigation fixes on is compatible, or the solutions, the apps that you produce and people like you're working on are compatible with that first iteration, which should be upgradable, not replaceable. I'm not sure if it's a question or a statement.
No, it's a more statement, and I totally agree. During this prototyping, we're going to be much more clever on this, and as an authority, we're not delivering this information in the modern way today. We have the standards and the international agreed that we need to deliver on NAVTEX, for example, and VHF and so on. So it's preparing our organization to deliver that information in the future. When the standard is in place, we can work from there, but right now we need that standard before we can start developing on top of that. So.
Inevitably, I have to ask you a question. Have you got a budget in place for implementing this wonderful system?
Right now we are working on the standard, and hopefully we will find a budget for implementing it in the future. Omar, please. That's my boss.
Omar Fitzgerald from the Danish Maritime Authority. No, we have no budget at all. But the whole exercise from our point of view is to mature, as Matt was saying, to mature our own organization, to think in these terms so that we are ready for the budget needs as they come, when they come. So that's the whole idea of our exercise within the authority as such, to mature ourselves, basically, and maybe to come up with some good ideas that others could take up in the industry and make into products. Hopefully free of charge.
All right, some good questions there. Thank you very much indeed.